Hi there, Leo. It's time for your weekly horoscope for the coming 7 days. And just a quick reminder for everybody out there, should you ever wish to get a session with me, all you need to do is go on ahead to my website. It's integrativemysticism.com, or of course, you may also just simply go ahead and follow those links down below. And for those of you who don't know, I've actually got a sale going on right now, 20% off all services, including gift certificates, and your pick a card, build your spread, not just pick one card. Your build a spread horoscopes will be coming out here very, very soon, and so stay tuned for that. So what's going on when it comes to this week? This week, Leo, is going to be all about paying attention to inequities and deficits as it relates to certain aspects of your life, possibly starting to need to be reworked or maybe even detached from one another for everything to have its best chance to thrive. And sometimes, these things are called to our attention so that we can actually work them out, right? Because when something takes undeniable precedent over everything else, right? We get a little bit too focused on the love life, get a little bit too focused on this thing or this person or this project or this job or whatever. Things can get really topsy-turvy, and this is where we are seeing where certain parts of our life are maybe having too much gravity, pulling too much energy to the point where it's no longer making love, it's taking love from everything around it. And we're doing some serious corrective work, right? Because that's what happens when things become, too high maintenance, too preoccupying, too time consuming, too obsessive. They start to drain and pull, like a black hole, different parts of our life, into itself. And then what happens is that everything starts to kind of get off balance and spin off center. And so with the Temperance card reversed, we're seeing, okay, where are certain things needing to be given space from other things, and so that they don't have that effect on one another? Where are we redistributing our focus, our time and energy, right? Getting the mental and emotional levels and all of those things into a place of health and under control so that they're not, of course, creating distortion. And how are we able to get everything back in its proper space? Because sometimes we're just forcing things that are incompatible or don't belong together to be in the same space, right? We're trying to build something that maybe we don't want to cram it all into one room with. We don't want to cram it all into one schedule with. We don't want to cram it all into one space. And the Temperance card reverse is saying, look, you're going to have to pay attention to that this week. Where are we maybe in a space where projects or people or groups or communities are all maybe being forced to homogenize, where it is also to their detriment? And where can we actually break some connections in our chain, break the links, break where certain things are attached, and break certain attachments, not necessarily, attachments that are inherently bad, but just break attachments to where it's not working out very well. It's kind of like spacing your plants and your crops properly in your garden, so we don't have all of our intentions and our roots getting entangled together. It's one of the biggest things I always try and teach people when we're doing, strategy sessions or readings, where a lot of folks are like, how come this isn't manifesting? How come my life isn't changing? How come this? And it's like, you've cross-contaminated your intentions, right? Oh, this relationship is about a healing journey, or your job is supposed to do something that has nothing to do with itself, or maybe we're trying to do the everything blessing or the everything spell or the everything bucket, right? We have to detangle. And so we're doing a lot of detangling this week, and you're going to see that showing up in all areas of your life. In fact, as we get to the Eight of Swords for your material concerns when it comes to your work, your money, your finances, all that kind of good stuff, the Eight of Swords is indicating there is something that maybe you have been attached to, something that maybe you are serving, right, as a project or an organization, a population of people that you yourself need to detach yourself from, okay? Whether this is something that you used to love, but now you don't love it anymore. You might be seeing that maybe the work you're providing to them, or maybe what you're choosing to serve or dedicate your time and energy to holding on to is not serving in the highest interest of all concerned. We may be finding a financial negotiation, a financial arrangement that we're going on where we're maybe engaging with the wrong people. We have to pay attention to maybe an alternative that is going to get presented this week that maybe we don't want. Sometimes we get alternatives when we don't ask. It's a blessing from the universe, but if, again, our ego is invested in this all the time, we put into the first plan, it can be kind of tough, because the Eight of Swords is indicating that we have to see where we need to break with either a person, a population, a negotiation, an account, something that has hit the wall in terms of its growth, an approach that has hit the wall in terms of its efforts there, and where it needs to kind of detach from us so it can find its own way and we can detach and continue to grow and move up. Because when we accept that and we allow that and we detach, right, Temperance card reversed, we are seeing that we are becoming a lot more prosperous this week. But we have to make sure we can actually be brave enough to cut those ties. Don't just vent in the comments below about how you know what it is and don't do it. Because saying something and not doing it just means nothing's happening at all. You've got to make sure that you are letting yourself pay attention to acknowledge something for what it really is. If it hit the wall, if it's not growing, you can only walk a path with someone for so long until, and I said this in a recent chat, if you're doing all the work for somebody or you're trying to walk a path for somebody, eventually they're going to hit a checkpoint. They're going to hit a checkpoint in their life stream. And they have to take the test. And if you've been the one taking the notes and you've been the one showing up to class, you're setting them up to fail. So there could be something going on where we have to do some serious cutting off, or go with an alternative that's coming our way, dropping a project, dropping maybe a certain population of customers or clients we've been trying to appeal to, maybe even stepping into a space where we are going around or overhead somebody that doesn't know how to do what we want to do. And we're going to see some breakthroughs this week if you can take up that challenge. As we get on to your community card, friends, relatives, other people in your life, you've got the Eight of Cups upright. And it does look like there may be some disbanding going on when it comes to a certain group or a certain family situation or social dynamic that you're a part of. Now, with the Eight of Cups, this is something that is in, again, the highest interest of all concerned. It could be that a group or a collective or a certain arrangement has sort of outlived its relevance, outlived its usefulness. And it does look like this might be something that even you and a couple of friends or you and a couple of family members are deciding to take some space from. Now, with the Eight of Cups, it does look like this is, of course, moving on to something new. We don't just wander off into the vast unknown, into the wilderness with the Eight of Cups. This is moving on to a completely different destination. This is moving on to the next thing. But, there could be maybe some discomfort, some grief over this. We talk about a disbanding. We talk about potentially not necessarily a full-on rift or falling out, but possibly something where we all agree it's time to just move forward. This group, this entity, this situation, what it was, is not really something that is relevant or applicable at this stage of the game and everyone's growth and everyone's life stream, right? We can't all just look for a shelter and stay there and for the rest of our lives. This is a moment where there is a big push for everyone involved in the situation to grow, evolve, and mature, but we are all growing out of this group dynamic now. As we get on to your challenge this week, when we talk about lessons that present as challenges, you've got the Five of Pentacles. We've really got to start paying attention to things that are suffering because all of the maybe focus, energy, emotional priority, mental priority is being distributed unfairly in our lives. Because the Five of Pentacles is indicating a need to open up some voids and to start calling in the new, right? With the Five of Pentacles, look at the card, we see the person, wandering around out in, out in the desolation. They could easily go inside that building. They could easily go into the new. They don't have to walk around at that void forever, but they do need to actually venture into that void space to find their new space. And with the Five of Pentacles, that does indicate clearing room, clearing ourselves of anything that has become a bit of a distraction, too much of a big focus, right? Obsessiveness, single-mindedness, maybe things that are developing a bit of a one-track mind in our life. We've got to get away from that. And the more we actually start to build that room, break those links, break those chains with the Temperance card reversed, we are going to find that where we've been feeling these deficits, these voids, we are actually going to be getting new supply, new energy, new reinforcement, and new opportunities. But we have to allow that void to exist in the first place. As we get on to your emotions, right? We talk about love, romance, relationships. We've got the Nine of Cups upright. And what's interesting is, even though this does look like a week where, yeah, there's some challenges for you to heed, the Nine of Cups is indicating love and partnerships are going beautifully this week. And when we see the Nine of Cups, it does look like either a partner or somebody new is coming into a way, or with maybe some kind of resource, some kind of aspect of their own personal experience that is allowing you guys to start stepping into a space where you're building maybe the new home, the new platform, or the new commitment that absolutely is what we've both been trying to create all along. Now, whether or not they have that already within their own environment, right? The social life, the social support, or the creativity, the imagination, right? Because we have to have the mental wherewithal to be able to hold on to that reality. We can't just slip into it and hope, we can adapt to it. This is where we have a lot of yes answers coming through, a lot of affirmation coming through. Those of you who are looking for new relationships are going to find that even if you start asking people out, you're going to start getting yes answers left and right. So if you've been maybe wondering when a good time to pop that question, this would be a good week to be popping that question. The Nine of Cups is also indicating that a lot of you who may be in a situation where you and a partner are trying to maybe get more established in another direction, your partner is going to actually come into the resources or into the opportunity, the time to make that happen. We see a lot of wishes getting granted as far as relationship paths are concerned this week. And those of you who are even looking for somebody new and somebody brand new shows up, we see somebody who is already living a life that you are looking to live. So that is your horoscope. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate it. And should you ever want to get a session, go on ahead to my website. It's integrativemysticism.com.